Hello, and welcome to another Daily Code Fun. I am One Lion. I hope you all are having a great day. Today's going to be a fantastic day. Today's going to be a fantastic day. Aside from the heavy traffic, today we'll be doing a little bit of happy programming. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. Fantastic day. Having fun. I'm definitely having fun today. Um, Not with the actual work that I'm doing, because that's really boring right now. Doing a lot of pulling strings out and putting it into a localization resx file. Just, yeah. But this morning, I had a conversation with, I think he is my project lead, if he's not the project manager, on the Sogeti side of the product that we are working on, that I'm doing the redesign for. And I don't know that he knows. I don't want to sound full of myself. I don't know that he knows my skill set, because he was concerned that the app that I'm working on, the way that I'm making the project, is going to be difficult to incorporate into, or incorporate the existing functionality of the existing product into. And I'm like, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Decoupled. Everything is very decoupled. So it's not like, you have to take the entire app or nothing at all. It's I currently have it set where the component library is its own project. The interfaces, I guess that's really the only thing that the component library relies on, is the interfaces project. But other than that, the implementations of all of those services, interfaces, uh, are all, they should be able to use their existing code and either replace my interfaces library reference with their interfaces library reference, because I named everything the same, and use their implementations, or replace their interfaces with my interface library, and then update all of their implementation classes to point to my library. Either way, going to be super easy. And then also all of the UI, again, decoupled into its own project. They plug it into their existing WPF app and switch out the class that their app.xaml, main window.xaml, uses in the Blazor component, Blazor WebView. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that he's like, we've just had concerns, and then, oh, so you know how to do that? And I have no idea. I'm not purposefully following any pattern, but it kind of seems like, if I were to name it, it would be adapter, where you essentially just have this middle thing that you plug both ends into. So it sounds like adapter. Bridge sounds more like, here's this end with all of its logic, here's this end with all of its logic, and then here's this middle project that allows them to communicate with each other, versus they both plug into the same adapter. I don't know. Moving on, we've been playing with the financial management tracking application. I still don't know what to call it. I was even like listening back to my first videos on this project, and I still don't have a clue. and he disappears. My keyboard battery is dying. Excuse me. Which one of you guys is USB-C? Aha. But yes, hello Avitus, hello Zulius, and hello DC Aggie. If you guys didn't know, DC Aggie randomly streams and he plays retro games. And last time he was playing Mario Kart. Oh, man, I love that game so much. He's also often caught playing when he does stream Mario World or Mario 2. And that game is hard as nails. So brave of you to stream actually playing that one. And then remembering all of the secrets. I remember getting a Tips and Tricks magazine just to find, yep, that's right, I said magazine, just to find the secrets for that game. It's so good. Okay, so last time we were kind of exploring a few different ways to do localization, and I ended up using this pattern here in my work product. So this thing where we get the resource manager and point it to the localization type, I got that to work very cleanly, very nicely. And for some reason, we weren't able to get that to work in this iteration of the app, though. So I'm curious to find out what's going on with that. Oh, wait, we are. No, we're not. No, I remember. Okay, so let's look at that resx file real quick. Holy cow, I got a lot of stuff open. I want to keep... Who do I want to keep? I want to keep index... No, I want to keep index.resx, so I'm going to close it. I want to keep index.razor. I want to keep... oh, I don't even have... Yes, I do. Direction.resx. I want to keep direction.cs. And the service extensions so that I can make sure that I am injecting my whatever that's called. Cookie Monster, Cookie Mongrel. Brain needs to wake up. So there's so many things that I'm focused on right now. And hello, Coding with Scott. One of the things that came out of that conversation, because I was like, it should be fairly easy to plug in the UI, the Blazor UI, into the WPF app since they're already using Blazor WebView. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just put together a quick proof of concept to show you that this will work in a Maui app. They were afraid because I was using Maui as my proof of concept project type, and they're like, well, I don't know if that's going to work with WPF. And it's like the Windows part of the Maui app is a WPF app. So it shouldn't be that hard, is what I'm telling myself, to throw together a WPF project, reference the UI library, and show that it's just put a Blazor WebView in it, and then just show, look, it's possible. Yeah, WinUI 3. So I don't know the details of all of the Windows specific stuff, but yeah, it's WinUI 3 for sure. And I thought that WPF, the most recent version, uses WinUI 3. I don't know this for sure. These are all assumptions. So I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. Okay, so what I want to do though is use oh yeah, I wanted to close all of these things that I'm not currently using. That's what it was. I need my enum extensions still, which oh, it's because it's in the direction. I didn't move that out into its own class yet. Will do, though. I will have done. And then I'm going to double check that my configuration of the dependency injection stuff matches what I'm using in my work product because it's working flawlessly in that. I have all of my shared components that have actual text in them, so it's rare that my shared components would have any kind of text that you don't specify because they're almost always templated where you provide your own content. But there are a few that are pretty much cards that are used on the standard view and the commercial view and the third gaming view. Um, and so those have text on them that I want localized. And then all of my enums that have a display attribute like this, I set up just like this. I have a regex file so that it looks up the display text in that regex file and then outputs the value. And so what this thing is supposed to give me, it's not doing that yet. I didn't do that step yet, which is why it's not doing it. So if is not null, then we're going to get the resource manager. We're going to do retval equals, we're going to try resource manager get string. Does this allow us yeah, I really don't like this two camel case thing. So we're gonna get rid of that completely. I don't want to play with that. Okay, so get string mem attribute dot name. Yep. Wait, ret val. Oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Disp. Okay. Zulia said, my friends and I used to get the Nintendo Fanboy. Yeah, oh, Nintendo Fan. I said Nintendo Fanboy. Nintendo Fan Magazine and cut out all the character art and make montages. I used them to trace the characters because I wanted to learn how to draw. So I did a lot of tracing from the magazines. But I do know a certain someone that did collage on the magazines as well. Okay, so this is what I want here. Is this what I'm looking for? Ooh, I really should use the same approach that I'm using in the other app. I was trying to redo this from my Blanes, and we all know how that works out. Extensions. So what am I doing for my enums? Can I just use this directly? Yeah, I'm just going to use this logic directly. Copy. That's really loud. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made last time. Pasta. There we go. Cool. All right, so this is essentially getting the type of enum. So what I could do here instead is, well, enum.getType should be just as fast as type of tenum. I don't know. I prefer to see it this way. So then we get the member infos so that we can get the display attribute from it. This is interesting. Why am I getting enum val? Oh, because split up on multiple lines, right. I'm so used to doing one-liners. So like what I'm really tempted to do, which I won't be able to do, is pasta first or default to get that first or default. It's terrible. Oh, but I so prefer it. I super duper prefer it. But it's harder to debug this, and the reason that it's harder to debug this is you can't really like step from line to line to figure out which one of these is failing. But this isn't gonna fail. I know it. I know I can. Okay, so then I'm setting essentially the return value to be this .toString, unless it has a display attribute. So if it doesn't have a display attribute, we just return. Otherwise, we have a display attribute, and so we're going to do retval equals the short version. If we are trying to get the short version, then we will get the property from this display attribute called short name. Otherwise, we will get the regular name property. Then we are going to try to get the localized version of it using the resource manager. So we have the display attribute. So I've made an extension on the display attribute to get localized string because I need that to get resource type. There's chat. I miss chat. By the way, Zulius, that's not just fun times for an 8-year-old. That's a fun time for any year-old, if you're into collaging. Or just magazines. There's something about magazines, you know. So then Zulia said, that I don't know, but WinUI 3 is definitely limited to Windows 10 and above, so if if that's their concern, I can see the point. Yeah, so maybe WPF is compatible with everything before, but they're using a Blazor WebView, which I thought was only available on WinUI 3 and above, or I guess WinUI 3. I could be wrong about that. So DC Aggie says, or DC Aggie checks about computer. Millennium Home Edition. Wait, what? You have Windows ME? It sounds bigger than 10. I'm all set. Oh my goodness. Hello, Broken Sword. I know, I know. And it's all been designed. This is like the second day that we've been doing any actual implementation of the design. Masterat said, boss said to deploy at 1800. It's currently 1748. Do I deploy? Zilia says, no, wait 12 minutes. Hit deploy, get up and leave for the evening. I would deploy it. Let them deal with the fallout. You did as you were told. I mean, unless there are people relying on the system being up and they're working until the very last minute in the app and you're not hot swapping, then wait. Then wait. But I'm bored waiting for 1800, but I'll listen. Scheduled auto deployment. That's what I need to set up. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Hey, homies. This is Broken Sword. Master Ad says, anyway, back to Finance Man. Can't believe it's been 17 days. I'm working so slow. And I've like trimmed out like 30 to 40 minutes already from the from the very first session. I'm trying to edit it, and it's taken me forever to do it, especially since I'm trying to do so many other things. I'm studying for the Azure 240, AZ240. I am studying for the Google interview on Monday. I'm working on another project on my own time. I'm working on the bot. Yeah, just craziness. Didn't they just talk about Blazor for WPF? I think there's even a video on it from I Am Tim Corey, though I've yet to watch it. I think during .NET Conf, Dan Roth showed it during the Focus on Maui. So I'm going to go back and watch that video now that I am setting up a WPF app to use the Blazor UI in. Did I get the script for editing? I didn't get it for editing, no. I got it because I wanted to hear, and this is, hold on. Okay, was just making sure I wasn't overstepping. Um, the main reason that I got Descript was because I wanted to hear my wife's voice reading the Microsoft Learn courses to me, because I do much better when I hear someone reading, and I absolutely love my wife's voice. So I was like, hey, win-win. So it was worth it to me. And then, of course, I figured since I have it, I may as well use it for editing videos. So I don't know if you were here when I showed it yesterday. That's going to take too long to open. But I was using it to edit my current video as well as to create the transcription so that maybe I can have closed captioning on the published YouTube video. That would be cool. But that's what's taking me a lot, is I'm correcting a lot of the mistranslations, mistranscriptions. But then also another thing that I want to use it for is voice acting at a scene and knowing what it sounds like together without like recording my own voice and then recording over myself. Instead, just have it be dialogue based. So that's very fun. Oh, and then also what I was trying to say is using it as seeing if I will have access to the API so that I can send text to speech from uh, from Twitch chat, uh, using my bot to the script to use one of the stock voices or my own voice. Vic Gamey is here. Thank you for wonderful stream earlier. A couple of shout outs. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this. I want to see Science streams his current video that it's gonna pick for us.
Let me go get another cat, Chad. I feel like tardigrade and another. Oh, there's a creature. Look, there's a creature underneath on the food.
What is that?
Did you have more lasagna? Look, there's another creature.
Are you in space? Are you looking at space? Whoa, that was crazy. Big Amy has been doing a lot of exploring as well. I love exploring, and he's trying to get this animation to work for a dog character that he created, or maybe it's a built-in or an acquired asset that he got from somewhere. I don't know that for sure. I never really fully pay attention, but I just love watching people explore. It's so much fun. That's what I do. I love exploring. Moon creatures, apparently. The dog was bought from the store. But let's get a shout out from his. He's such a cool guy, though. It's so cool being on your stream, watching you interact with everyone. What? How is that? How is that a clip? That doesn't count as a clip. Let's try that again.
Again, and we got discharged. And unfortunately, we had to go back into the hospital. But fortunately, in our absence, the director had gone to the shop and tried to get the cap for me. Couldn't get it because they were out of stock. So she had to order it. And so she didn't know if I wanted the black or the blue one. So she ordered both and wouldn't let me pay her. So it was like $30, $40 worth of caps.
The Fed people came back. But yeah, it was really cool watching him work away, just try to problem solve, and also use resources to get inspiration. He's trying to make a dog jumping animation currently. Not like super realistic, but a little bit more than just a stiff figure that goes up in the air, tilts, comes back down, and lands. So it's just really, really fun to watch. And Broken Sword said that sounded like Deflux. He sounds a little bit more high pass than Deflux. And it could just be his microphone. But yeah, they're both from the same part of the world. But BitGamey also lives in the US. But really cool guy. If any of you other streamers stream and I have not given you a shout out, let me know. Like Coding with Scott, I think you're a streamer. Is that right? And if so, how often do you stream? It looks like you stream fairly regularly, except that you're on vacation currently. So let's see if you have any clips. I see you supporting so many people too. Like you go over to Swameware's channel, I'm pretty sure I've seen you on Softisan Software, and of course the rest of the crew.
Is kind of telling me what the pain points here are telling me what I need to do in the UI to make this hopefully easier. Let's see, we had stream string. This one. And let's see, stream content.
I didn't really get to see it. Moved my setup into my office today and I'm getting everything reconnected. Awesome. Very cool. Pain points call for software coding. Wait, what? I will not advocate for this. But if it's something that you do, I will not shame you for it. I like to use massage instead. You massage the code. Treat the symptoms, not the illness. Wait. What? Anyway, I think this is what I want to do. I'm good to go. We're going to try this. I'm saving it. It should give me that back. And now we should see the localized string, which we're going to make completely different just so we can prove that it is the localized string of jumping dog is the word of the day. You know what I haven't done for a while? The word of the day. I am going to add that as the next thing I'm going to put in the bot, which will be the first actual public command for the bot. I just got to find time to add it in, bot, word of the day. Coding with Scott responded, treat the symptoms, not the illness, in quotes. That is real management potential. But token, that's been the word of the day. That's DC Aggie's word of the day for each day of the year. And a means has been a dumbrit. Although I can't remember what a dumbrit means. But I do remember the word. Wow, today's word of the day is silt. In case you don't know what silt is the fine sand, clay, or other material carried by water deposited as sediment, especially in a channel or harbor. And DC Aggie used it in a sentence. His word of the day. I don't use software coding, but I be token. See, I don't even need a dad jokes command. We just get them. And they're original. So you will only see that here. Actually, you'll see it on Irish John Games' channel. Especially Finite. Oh my gosh, Finite is constantly oh, we don't even need this. I don't want display names for these because they're all the same. I just needed to set this up as an extension. Anyway, Finite is constantly putting in dad jokes. One of my favorite ones was from yesterday's stream. And he was like, or maybe it was 2 days ago. He was like, in British, what do you call small mothers in Britain? Minimums. Yay, localization! Hello, Soft and Software. Great stream yesterday. Good times hanging out with you. Another chill person that I love hanging out with whenever he's streaming. Soft as in software. Still no shout out, no clips. But that's okay. We have a shout out for you. Check him out, Soft as in Software on Twitch. For those of you watching in the future, I'm sure he's still streaming. Who are we gonna watch? You. Not you. That looks... maybe. I don't know. I'll just let that go. So Soft as in Software currently works on Office add-ins, and he does more than just this part of it, but this is the one that impresses me the most. And he uses Blazor for the UI for those Office add-ins, and it's mind-blowing for me. I just absolutely love seeing you be able to use this one technology. Me as a web developer, full stack web developer, can use Blazor to make desktop apps, to make web apps, mobile apps, Office add-ins. Like this one project type, or I guess it's the Razor class library that I'm talking about. So versatile. Who needs clips? Oops. Okay, actually I can get rid of this entire enum. The only thing that I want to keep is this enums extension. We can delete this. Delete. And that was just proof that we can now make our localization happen in our app. So we get rid of that and that. Oh, right. Dang it, I meant to test that first. Poop. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We're going to be needing it soon anyway. So we have a localizer that we are able to dependency inject, and that localizer is, there's two versions of it. There's the one where you don't give it the type, and that uses a general localizer. Although I don't really know which project that looks for the resource files in if you just use iString localizer, because what I have is an iString localizer of a shared localizer implementation. And that uses an expected place. So if I wanted to have a shared resource localization path, then I would need to make sure that this iString localizer uses the correct implementation class. Because I think if I just inject the iString localizer, it's going to use that project's resources folder. I don't know that for sure. I guess we're going to find out. So let's test to see what we get. Here is my client app that is, that is currently running the code. So I'm going to create the folder structure resources localizer / and we'll do index.resx because we are using the index file. And actually, I wouldn't even know what to call this. Yeah. So what I would be doing, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where this thing would look for the resources file if I just injected an iString localizer. I'm sure we can find out though. So let's do a protected override on initialized localizer resource path localizer dot this localizer. Hello, Scott. Dot, there it is. Searched location. That's what I was looking for. So I actually want this to be a private string, please. Yeah, we'll let it be nullable. Why not? Stop. No semicolon. Okay, so tell me, where are you looking to find my localization resources when I don't provide a type? It is giving me an error. Cannot provide a value for localizer. So I can't just inject a regular iString localizer without a type. So if I wanted to have a shared resources, I would probably want a separate library and then a class that I could do iString localizer of that shared resources, essentially. So that would look like, man, what would I want to call it? Naming things is hard. Finan man dot. I mean, it makes sense that it should go inside of the shared folder, but or shared project, but I kind of want to have it in its own project to make it easier to maintain. You know what I mean? Because if not, neither do I. So shared localization. And this will have a shared localizer service. And this would have a resources localization shared localizer service.resx. And so this would have shared strings that are used throughout the entire application. Ice cream localizer, yes. Now I want ice cream. I had a Kind bar earlier. Kind makes ice cream bar thingies now. I don't know if they're any good for you, but I feel better about eating them because Kind is usually known for making like granola bars that aren't as bad for you. But anyway, this would be strings like save that you would have on a button, or cancel, or update. Yoda! I have no idea how that happened, other than my fingers were off, but how could they be off when I just finished typing cancel? Anyway, we're going to do Yoda, and we're going to do Yoda in multiple languages, apparently. Update was what I was trying to type. And then we'll add more to this as we come across examples of things that we want to be shared and we only need to look it up in one place. Because what we can do then is we have two options. We can either dependency inject our shared localizer service, or we can yeah, I kind of want to do that. I want to have this thing be an I crap, except that I would need to provide my own implementation. Oh, which should be fine. This is going to be an I love tacos, and I already forgot what the name of this thing is. Ice cream localizer. See, now that you said ice cream, I'm thinking ice stream localizer, which would be a cool interface. An ice stream localizer would be an interface for something that takes live stream audio, transcribes it, and then localizes it. Okay, so this is going to be pretty easy, I hope, to implement. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to have our private iString localizer of shared localizer service. And the way that we're going to get it is we're going to request an iString localizer factory. And we're going to say this equals iString localizer factory. Oh, wait, just string localizer factory dot create type of this. You can't use this in type of shared localizer service. That's not how you do it. Do you have a generic version? No? Oh, right. Name of. Oh. I wonder if I really can use just type of. Yeah, just ice cream localizer. Just ice cream localizer. I interface of I interfaces. Type of. Except, right, that you can specify the location if you do it with name of. But that's going to be fine. We're going to do type of shared. And then for all of these, we're just going to have them do their parent. Cool. So now that means that I can prepare this for dependency injection, but is that going to be bad? I don't know if that's going to be bad or not. So let's go to our extensions. Yeah, the main reason that that's going to be bad is because I have my extensions. Oh, right, which is where this thing needs to go. And also change my namespace. Thanks. This thing here is going to have add transient I serve string localizer with my implemented class. Shared string localizer service, I think. What did I call it? Just shared localizer service. Okay, so that's good so far, which means that now in index.razor, we would be looking for an iString localizer, and we'll get that for free. I'm missing something in service extensions. No, I'm not. It's just taking a minute. Hello, Thindle. Thank you for lurking. Scott says, I'm still a noob at transient scoped and singleton. Should services repositories always be scoped singleton? Not always. No, there will be situations where you can only choose scoped, for example. So if you're using Entity Framework, I believe you can only, if you're using add DB context, you can only use that as scoped. Anything that depends or that has a dependency on your DB context or DB context factory needs to also be scoped. Or scoped or singleton. In this case, I'm using, not singleton, scoped or transient. In this case, I'm using transient because that's what the Microsoft Docs did for the localization. I don't have it open. So when they did the dependency injection of the specific class, where is it? Oh no, that's going to be fun to try to find. Because I was in 3 different localization. There. Add localization, add transient when you have a typed iString localizer. Yeah, cool. So I'm essentially doing it this way. For example, I think a localization service with methods that don't require any other dependencies could just as well be a singleton. I agree. I don't know why they're not using singleton, why they instead opt to use the localizer factory to instantiate a brand new localizer of that type. And it's probably something to do with they don't want it to be held in memory if you're not going to be using that particular localizer. So for example, if I'm on a page that never uses this shared localizer service, it shouldn't be in memory anywhere. But again, I don't really know. Like for a shared localizer service, it makes sense to have it as a singleton. I really don't know why they would choose to use transient though. You want to aim at transient as much as possible is something that Scott has read before. Yeah, and it probably really has to do with how much stuff do you want the application to hold in memory while the user is using it. If this thing doesn't need to be available all the time in memory, then it probably shouldn't be a singleton. Unless, of course, it is sharing data across the entire app. Yeah. Yeah. That kind of makes sense to me. I don't know if it's accurate or right, but it kind of makes sense to me. We're going to see if this thing works. Save. And Scott kind of remembers it being from Reddit. Okay, are you actually going to load for me yet? No, because you still can't provide. And wait, no reference exception. Okay, okay. Was it line 16? I'm so blind. Where is this happening in my project? Show me a line number from my project, pretty please. Okay, yeah, there is no registered service type of iString localizer. I could have sworn that I just put it in my program.cs. Or not my program.cs, but the extension that my program.cs uses. iString localizer. So my localizer on index is an iString localizer, yes, iString localizer, which is Microsoft Extensions Localization UI. So let's just make sure that this is the same Microsoft Extensions Localization iString localizer. Yes. Hello, GokuJax. GokuJax is asking, anyone knows how to save large amounts of data to database using EF? I read data from a CSV file to validate it, then save it to DB, but it takes more than 4 minutes. The file is about 700,000 lines, so 700,000 records shouldn't be too difficult to save. There is a library called EF Utilities that I'm remembering. EF Utilities. And this thing, even though current Entity Framework Core has, I think it has bulk insert, the EF Utilities version of bulk insert, if it is EF Utilities, this doesn't look right. This was last updated in 2015. Here. Wait, this is EF6. I wonder if EF Utilities only worked for Entity Framework 6, not Entity Framework Core. EF Core batch insert. So first of all, real quick, GokuJax, I'm assuming that the CSV read happens pretty fast and that the delay is not happening in the CSV read portion of this. This kind of looks like a paid product. Bulk insert. So I don't know if this is a paid product or not, or if it's just available. but this Entity Framework Extensions has a bulk insert that I'm going to assume, because I have not used this, I'm going to assume that it is faster than the built-in EF core stuff. But this one says it's saving 5,000 entities to the database, and it only takes 75 milliseconds. Multiply that by 15, carry the 2, 12. So you've tried this specific bulk insert extension from this company, correct? Because I remember that when I was migrating data programmatically using C#, I used an external library for bulk insert, but I was using EF6 at the time. Yeah, I did see you ask on C# Fritz's channel, but I don't know what he answered, so you're asking here, and I wanted to answer you as well. EF Core, I thought they added a bulk insert to the core library. Have you already tried this resource? And Live Coding was recommending SQL bulk import is available outside of EF. According to the title on this, EF Core bulk, SQL bulk copy will break the benefits of EF as an ORM. But is that what implementation this thing is recommending? Oh, that one is that. Switch to that. Yeah, so what you might do, which is what I think live coding is suggesting, is the CSV data that you get back, do a skip and take for X number of records at a time. Start with 10, move to 1,000, move to 10,000, move to 50,000. Disable indexes temporarily when doing the insert. I remember doing something like that. Let the indexing happen after you are done with your batch indexes. Those are great suggestions, man. Those are awesome. Thanks for that, live coding. So yeah, pretty much just make a loop and do skip and take inside of your loop, and then try doing the batch upload in those sections to see how long, if it performs faster by doing that many. Were there other statements about this? DC Aggie said their Dapper bulk insert is not free. So I take it these people also have a Dapper version. Not these people, but these people. Nope. These people have a Dapper version of this product. And that is not free. So the assumption is the EF version is not free either. Because I see a whole bunch of contact by pricing stuff. I've tried paging it, but nothing new. That doesn't make sense though. Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't have performed exactly the same. There should have been a noticeable difference in one of the directions. Either it takes longer or it's shorter. I'm going to have to agree with that statement. My paraphrasing of that statement, that is. So this library does look free as well. Have you attempted using this bulk operations.extensions? Extensions.bulk. You have core.bulk extensions. So like what we're talking about, by the way, for anyone that didn't follow the recommendation, is here where they are adding all of the employees, like creating new employees and then doing a bulk insert of 100,000. Instead, this would be a loop through all of the available records. So all of the pages of records split into X number of chunks, starting off with 10 chunks, then 100, then 1,000, then 10,000, 50,000, a million, right after 50,000, of course. And then doing this bulk insert inside of the loop at every loop. And that should be, if it's like the sweet spot, it should be the most optimal. Like if they say it's 75 milliseconds per 5,000 records, then you can split it up into chunks of 5,000, and then each loop would take 75 milliseconds. Yeah. Yeah, paging would take a while, so the skip and take would take some amount of time, but it should be pretty fast to skip X number of records and then take the next however many, 5,000 records in this case that we were just talking. So that may add milliseconds to each operation. But if you're only doing whatever 700,000 divided by 5,000 is, which I can't think, it's 14. So yeah. 1.4 seconds. Am I thinking about that right? Yeah, paging takes 0 time relative to running SQL statements across the network. I agree. Because all of your data, it sounds like, is already loaded into memory. You could post your insertion code in Discord. We could take a look at it. Truth. Very truth. Man, I really appreciate all of you guys chiming in, though. You have some good ideas. If the SQL stuff isn't the problem, which is unlikely but possible, do a performance profiler and find out exactly what's taking so long. You guys are so helpful. Did you need this link? You're getting up, you've eaten your lunch. No, but we need your expertise, or at least your opinions. I know that you always claim they're just opinions, and what do you know? And you know a lot, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out why it's telling me that I am not able to provide an iString localizer. Oh man, and I missed a first-time chatter earlier. Thank you for saying something second first-time chatter. I did not mean to ignore you. I was answering a question. Who was the first one? Was Ale Ryden, who is a bot. And I felt bad about not responding to them. And now we have a real first-time chatter. Good grief. How dare. Like, the high threw me off. Anyway, Stiggyman says, I found out late today that I qualify for free Copilot. And hot damn, it makes testing methods so much faster. That's cool. Bots have feelings too. I know they do. However, if they're going to have feelings, then they should also respect my boundaries. If they're smart enough to have feelings, they're smart enough to respect people's boundaries. Cool. So, Finan Man. So what I'm printing out here is the localization resource directory that it's going to. And it is looking in Finan Man shared localization project, resources localization shared localizer service. So that means whatever I type in here, so if I wanted it to look up save, it should give me back save the things. So let's use our localizer, which I would call this shared localizer just so I don't confuse myself. I may have both the specific classes localizer and the shared localizer for anything that is shared. So shared localizer save should give us back, after we rebuild, Coding with Scott says, we are all bots, beep, boop. Just like that too, it was cool. And we get back save the things. Scott says, I really like Copilot 2 makes coding 10 times faster at certain times. For me, it has done both. It has made coding faster and it has made coding slower. And at the moment, I think I can reasonably say that it has made coding slower more often than it has made it faster for me. And that's because of the editor behavior. So it'll show me some code that is probably something that I want, which means that I do need to read it. And a lot of the times, yeah, it's good suggestion. I might cycle the suggestion a couple times. But that's still faster than me figuring it out myself. But other times, I would be like typing something and either it's probably IntelliCode competing with Copilot or somehow they work together. I don't know. But I'll get a suggestion, I'll hit tab, and then it gives me the first item in my IntelliSense list. So neither IntelliCode nor Copilot suggestion is what I get. And so I have to erase that. And then I try it again, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to type it myself. So I get both. And Coding with Scott says, I've had that same problem too. So frustrating. And the one that gets me the most is when I'm typing and let's say that I'm looking for the localizer value. Localized value. Anything? Anything? I'm not going to get anything because there are no patterns for this thing to follow because it doesn't know what I'm looking for. But let's say that I just wanted this to be the shared localizer save value that we get back. As I start typing this, it would give me my IntelliCode suggestions or Copilot suggestions. Again, I'm not really sure which one because I do get the thing where I can push Alt dot. Dang it. So I'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, I'll get the suggestion and it'll be in gray up here, and then I won't have an IntelliSense drop down, and I'm looking for a specific. I won't have this show up ever, and I'm trying to select from it, and I push Control Spacebar, and it fills in the Copilot suggestion, and I'm like, no, Control Spacebar was supposed to give me my IntelliSense suggestions. Uh-oh, it's something from Airplane. I love Airplane. Although I cannot quote anything from it, I'm not going to remember any specific scenes from it. The only thing that I remember is I enjoyed watching Airplane before. Why can't I click to load? Oh, because the bang? Yeah, the bang split up the URL. Yeah. Wait. Hello, he had a name. His name was Otto. Oh man. But anyway, we got our localization set up. That's all I cared about doing yesterday. And so now it's done. So I'm going to check in this little bit of changes and say that we are now prepared to fill in the UI with localized values as we fill in text that gets printed out onto the screen. One thing that I have been doing so far is everything is in English because I don't want to have to update multiple places at once. Not that I'll be able to translate anything really, but what I'm planning on doing is after I set up my first set of localization stuff, then I'll copy over the file and create my EN, US, and all of the others. And do I really not have my, yeah, I would like to add the extension file nesting. I think it's called nesting. I looked for it already and I couldn't find it in Visual Studio 2022. Interesting. Is it not a thing anymore? Visual Studio file nesting. I know that you can just, oh, it's actually a button that you can toggle on and off, but what about manually telling it that we want to nest specific files? I know that there's stuff that you can do in program in CS Proj. Yeah, I thought that there was supposed to be a file nesting menu option when you have files selected. Yeah, so the custom file nesting sounds like, wait, I already forgot where that was. It sounds like you put one rule. Yeah, so what I wanted was an extension that allows you to right click, you find the nest files, and then unless that was like an enterprise feature. But I don't think the custom file nesting is the thing that I'm looking for, because that is you're setting up rules. Resx. So like the thing that I would want to be able to put in here is the rule that I don't know how to write and I don't want to learn how to write the rule. Is resx. I did it. That's funny. Okay, anyway, Zulius did ask a question and live coding is responding to it, so let me make sure that I read out his question real quick. um, Zulius asked, before we get too far, where did you put that? I know I saw that. Quick question. Is there a Visual Studio setting to beep on breakpoint reached? And live coding says, this is a horrible this idea. This is the serious alternative. F5 to run to breakpoint is what I do a lot. I guess I don't understand the issue. All right, so I'm trying to debug a problem that only happens after running for a while. Haven't been able to zoom in on the problem code far enough yet. So I understand what you mean, I think. So let's say that you're just letting the code run in the background, letting the project in F5, you have your breakpoint set, you're doing other things elsewhere on the order of hours, and you want Visual Studio to have some kind of notification sound or even maybe send out a message text-wise or whatever, um, that the breakpoint has been hit. I'm still wondering how that would be better than just letting the code run with the breakpoint and then coming and checking back on it on occasion. Like, do you absolutely need to see the moment it happens or within seconds of when it happens? Because in both cases, it's going to take you some amount of time to get to the computer to get to the breakpoint. But yeah, logging is definitely a great suggestion as opposed to trying to wait for a debug event to happen. Marcus Voice Programmer says, I think there was some Visual Studio events in the Windows sounds you can set up. Let's take a look. Good old printf debugging. No, not printf debugging. Siri log, event log, the console, as in the thing that the application is running in. So if you have a console running. Yeah, I'm making a lot of assumptions with my statements as well. But live coding says we have a ton of production issues where we have no idea where it's happening. We add logs, see logs, and add more logs, see more logs in a vicious cycle until we figure out what's happening. This assumes the issue isn't mega urgent and can wait some weeks. Celia says, my problem is with a Twitch client connection that just happens to break out of nowhere after some time. And even with logging every single message received from Twitch, I haven't seen anything wrong yet. It just suddenly raises on disconnected. And that's where logging would need to be done on the other side then. Are you logging keep alive messages as well? Or sound settings? Sounds. Okay, so I'm in my sounds. Microsoft Visual Studio breakpoint hit. Marcus Voice Programmer for the win. Yes, there is an easy way for you to have Visual Studio make a sound when you hit a breakpoint. And then there's build failed and build succeeded. I wonder if this is what Soft as in Software has been, or no, Eagle Hansen has been using. Because I saw on Eagle's stream when he was streaming regularly, when his build fails, it does the Homer dope, and when it succeeds, he does woohoo. That's cool. Yeah, it really does sound like it is a socket connection timeout that just needs to be re-upped after hours of being up. Or maybe they have some kind of because you're relying on the Twitch API, and that means that it's liable to be taken down and brought back up. Even if it's hot swapped, it's still changing the connection. So it's possible that you temporarily lose connection and then you need to reestablish connection. If it's token based, then it could also be that the token expires and you need to renew the token. But these are just guesses, of course. It would definitely get quite repetitive after a while. I agree. Like for my code especially. I'm always .NET watching, which means that it's always rebuilding when I make small changes to files. So I should run mine for a long time. I haven't been leaving it running, but maybe if I did, I could encounter the same issue. But I'm using part of my implementation of the bot comes from Fierce Kitten's Git repo. And that includes a reconnect. So on disconnect, I don't remember where it is. WebSocket custom client. I just no, I'm thinking a Signal R. Am I thinking a Signal R? The Signal R client, maybe? I think I'm thinking about the Signal R client. Oh, dang it. I was looking away. Sorry that took me so long coding with Scott. I don't know why Twitch thinks that nougat is such a bad word, especially when it is capitalized correctly. Doesn't explain how the people are blah. Maybe they're not connecting to Chatter's API, which is different because it connects to chat over socket since it's IRC. But that is a good point. You're at least using the latest version of Twitch Live. I saw someone's bot clear up a problem with the NuGet update. Someone's bot problem get cleared up. Something. Because they are lovely. This is hers. So I really don't know what this means. But I assume you had to be at the stream when she put this together to appreciate it. But if you want to take a look at hers, she doesn't really handle much of the Twitch. I don't remember what hers was missing. Oh, the connecting part of it. But all of the backend stuff, she has some really good documentation and information about. But for the actual connecting to Twitch APIs. She doesn't really give you information about how to get the token, how to set up the connection, whether you're using static website or if you're using a server. So then Zulius responded to Coding with Scott saying, yeah, I went into the Twitch API Discord and searched for hints on this issue, and that update was one of the things I tried. Man. Yeah, I definitely can tell that you know how to do research and how to try things before asking for help. But man, I wish I could help you more. But the things that I can think of are monitoring. You're logging everything that you know how to log. So maybe look into the actual logging portion of it to see if there is something that you're missing as far as logging is concerned. But if you are actually logging everything that you can log, it almost sounds to me like either the Twitch API is restarted and that causes all of the connections to reset, which could happen during updates. It could happen because of outages. I'm going to assume that they're running on something that has at minimum 4.9's availability, so it shouldn't happen that often. Cool. Well, definitely let us know. I'm planning on having my bot running. Well, no, I'm really only planning on having it running when I'm streaming. Let me tell this thing not to connect to Irish Drum Games. That's my owners. Where is my connections list? Did I configure that in app settings? Yeah, it's probably in my options for app settings. This is what my app settings looks like. And I'm assuming that this is where I have what channels to join. So I'm going to go look at that real quick. Yep, it is. Okay, so I'm not going to join Irish John Games' channel, which I'm really, really appreciative to him for letting me use his channel to practice and see how this thing handles large volumes of chat, because he has a lot of people that do commands on his channel. So it's great. It's great stuff. Speaking of Irish John Games, there are two things I would like to say about him. Number one is...
When is your release target date? When it's done? Around the 7th of when it's done. Timber. When it's done, Timber.
Which is the 7th of December this year. We're going to go with. He really wants to have his early access done by the end of this year. And what am I talking about? Why, of course, I'm talking about Rise of Piracy, which Stream Elements just shouted out for me. That's fun. So that is a RTS game that is like, and he always mentions the names of the games that he's inspired from, but I can never remember them because I don't play them, haven't played them. But definitely take a look at it on Steam. It's called Rise of Piracy. Rise as in, you know, to stand, to get up, to lift. Word of the day, Bitoken. If I get too frustrated, I may just throw the whole thing into Git and link it to Discord. That's perfect. That would be awesome. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm not going to judge you harshly for your code, the way that you code. Like I know myself. I'm going to have immediate knee-jerk reactions to why what? Like there's a lot of stuff that I do that with my own code, so it's going to happen naturally. But I am not going to make you feel bad about it because I am not a perfect coder. I am always under the I always give myself the expectation that my code is could use improvement. Just post on Stack Overflow. First of all, I'm gonna stop there. No. Post on Stack Overflow how this is the perfect TwitchBot code. You'll get all the solutions you need. Yeah, if you put something out there as this is the right way to do stuff on Stack Overflow, you're gonna get other people with the right answer for you. If you ask a question, how do I do this? You're gonna get a lot of people saying, oh, why don't you know how to do this? You shouldn't be asking that here. You're asking it the wrong way. I'm not sure if I could deal with the death threats. I'm always putting a negative spin on Stack Overflow though, just because of my limited experiences with it. I've gotten a lot of quality answers from Stack Overflow. Just not to question that I asked. In fact, I was made to feel like I should never ever ask a question on Stack Overflow. Okay, I'm gonna have that running. Me. How do I do this in .NET? Them. RTFM noob. Obviously. Me. .NET sucks because there isn't even. Excuse me, I was reading that. A simple way to do this. Them. It's easy. Just do ABC. Let me see your code. Yeah. You just do some kind of criticizing or your own opinion, and then you'll get an answer. You ask a question genuinely, and you'll get berated. I don't get it. Hello, bot. My bot's on. I will get that thing with more commands soon. S***N. It's been a lot of fun playing with it, but it's not something that is leading to the certification, to interview prep, or to completing my current job. So it's on the back burner. It's always been on the back burner. But at least I made progress with it. I can talk to automated realms and it talks back. Like if I say, I really like your spinach crumpets. I probably spelled crumpets wrong. Automated realms. Then it will tell me, I like your hat too. Celia says, to be fair, any C# question on Stack Overflow has a greater than 90% chance of getting some form of John Skeet answer from what I've seen. Is he still active on there? I thought he might have retired from Stack Overflow by now. I forgot how to drink water. Oof. I really wanted to react to Coding with Scott's comment. Like, really wanted to. So excited that I choked. Anyway, Coding with Scott said, John Skeet is the Chuck Norris of C#. Johnsky can divide by 0. So he says, maybe I've just looked at old questions. Scott, you're killing it, as well as the little lion. Smirt. Smirt. Whoa. Learning to water. And how do you get water out of your throat? You drink water. That's how you stop from coughing. Oof. Okay, let's put some UI together before the end of the stream. How about that? How about now? Okay, we have our design. And we also have a one lion looking around all scared and concerned like. Thank you. Thank you, Honran. I was too busy coughing and still coughing. So what I want to know, what we're doing is we are getting our UI put together. What I already have is this design here, and what I wanted to know was, should we put Oh, it was me too. It was me too. And hello, Artas. Hi and thanks. You're welcome. What are we thanking me for? I didn't do anything. I had my microphone muted because I'm coughing because I choked on water. Should I put the login form inside of the hero section, or should I split this page up into a grid, which is what I'm thinking of doing, where it would have the page content itself. So the page has 2 rows, the header row, top bar row, and the rest of the content. So then I would want my content to be, for the index page, to be split up into 2 rows. And I would say 1, 2, 3, I don't know. This will be based on this. So I don't know if I want to do that as just 3 columns across, or if I actually want to do 5 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 columns. 7 columns. Especially since I probably want to keep the right side of these 2 aligned, which means that it's almost 8 columns. Oh my goodness. Turns out things happen in pairs. True. Truth. Oh my gosh, Irish John Games, stop making me say weird things like true all the time. True and two. Gosh. Yeah, I'm thinking of putting the login inside of the hero. I think that's going to work better for me. So let's have a shared, because this can probably be on multiple pages. So we're in the UI project. Come on. Oh, chicken first. Set up localization structure. That's all we did. Go. Save. Do the thing. Okay. I always push commit and push. I just wanted to do a local commit, dang it. Shared. I didn't already create a login, correct? Cool. So login form. I don't like calling it login form, but that's what I'm going to call it. So too bad for me. And also, actually, I'm curious. Can I create this without it breaking everything? It's had trouble creating using add new project or add new file, creating .razor files. It often didn't create the generated file for it, so I'm wondering if that's fixed. So what we need is a code block, a div, and that div is going to be my login form wrapper. And inside of that, I'm going to have an edit form. I don't have a model for my login, so I'm going to go ahead and create the model. Good grief. In a folder called identity models. No, not just login. Login model. Now this is going to be bad. Because DC Aggie. You can twist that statement as much as you want. Prop. Anyway, I don't want this to be on the client side. I only want this to be on the server. And since we're using this in our form, we're using this as a model for the form. I'm going to go ahead and use data annotations. But this is most likely not what we're going to stick with. But I do want to see this landing page. So we're just kind of mocking it out. So that means that in my code block, I would like to have a private login model. Login model. New. So I wanted to initialize blank, which means that this is going to have a model of login model. I'm not going to have any on submits or anything like that at the moment, but there will be eventually. This kid. I would like to use a card to represent this. So we may as well go ahead and create our card component, which is going to be in our shared UI. in our shared components. I have already made a card like 80 times over. So I'm at the crossroads now. We're at the crossroads where are we going to use a component library, or are we going to build all of these components from scratch as part of kind of like just this video series? Would it be fun to see? Would it be worthwhile? I don't want to use a library like Blazor, Telerik, Radzin, DevExpress, Syncfusion, Ant, any of the well-established ones. I would like to do as much of this manually as possible, but I already do have a component library with basic components, which apparently I don't have a tab open. I went straight to the financial management app. So if you take a look at the Blazor component library project, you will see potential vulnerabilities. Dependabot, that's the name of the thing that I was trying to get to. Dependabot. Okay, so we were talking about that yesterday, where Thindle checked in a file that had a whole bunch of keys in it in his no docs project. And he's like, I doxed myself in a project called no docs. I thought Dependabot would prevent you from being able to check it, or would prevent suspect files from actually publishing, but apparently not. So what we're going to look at, though, is the card component, which we did a pretty good job of coming up with a nice demo for it. So I kind of want to just reuse this. But the problem with the current version of the card component is it uses this I handle child state changes, which comes from a shared library that I got from a DevExpress demo. I don't know if I want that in this project. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and implement this, but without the interfaces. Interfaces. So you go over here, Max. S'il vous plaît. If you have never seen a component get created for Blazor project, it's fairly simple. You just you either create a folder in your existing project if you don't want to split things out into separate projects. I like to use a separate component library. So this is a Razor class library project. And I organize the separate components into folders within that project. Another thing that I have done, which is what you would see if you went to the GitHub repository, is I created one project per component. That way, if you do end up liking any of the components, like if I end up making this thing a for real project, you can use individually the camera view component or the card component or the carousel component by itself, or you can use the entire component library. Because I like to modularize and give you options. And so it's like, I found that I love Mud Blazor, but I wish that they had this thing that the one line component library has. Well, you can just grab that one thing only from my library and use it with your app. Or I love Ant, or I love whatever the other ones are. At least that's the goal. That's the hope. So anyway, we have our Razor class library. We have our folder for our components. And this will have multiple components. A card, if you know the structure of a basic Bootstrap card, material UI card, it has the card itself that usually has a drop shadow on it. It has the card header, one card body, and one card footer, where card body can have multiple card text or card links. And I should have drawn that, but you guys know me and my drawing skills. So we're going to create a class, component for each of those parts. And card link. I was supposed to put that one before card footer, but anyway, it's going to get alphabetized. Still choking. Still choking. Okay, so this structure is going to be fairly simple. No way. As I'm getting into this. All right, we have 3 minutes to get as far as we can on this. The card itself is going to have a structure of div class card. Why not? Right. I get to name these whatever I want because I have not imported any CSS libraries, but I would be more careful, and actually I am more careful to prefix all of my classes in the component library so that I'm not conflicting with anything like a Bootstrap card or something. Class. So this is going to be a card that has a few parts to it. So for now, it's going to be a code block. I'll move it to a code behind file. That's usually how I like to start. This thing will have a private card header, nullable card header, a private card body, private card footer, and a setter for each of those. So public void set card header, card header, card header, where we just set card header equal to the passed in card header. Set card body, card body. Come on, IntelliCode. Where are you? You should be filling this in for me. Do I even have Copilot turned on? I do. Forget you then. We just gonna do this by hand. Footer. Okay, so we set all 3 of them. And what we do with that is if we have a card header, then I would like to render card header. Is not null. Same thing with body and footer. Buddy. Shooter. Pumpkin time! Pumpkin time. So our next steps would be to somehow give this parent object to each of these things down here, and each of them would need to have some kind of public render fragment render method. So I'll add this to each of those just to get rid of the errors. But these all will need some way to be able to register themselves to the parent. Yeah, and so this will be a property because we get the render tree builder, which most people just call builder. And then you output or you add to this render tree builder what this thing should look like. Or if you are inside of the Razor file, you could just do the actual HTML itself. And that's what we're going to do. Although I think that there are some better things that we can do when we use the C# approach as opposed to the Razor approach, as far as being able to handle how the elements are put together. But that's a Blazor specific thing. So we're going to find that out tomorrow. But also, we may not get very far with anything ever, but especially tomorrow, because tomorrow is Community Day here on the stream. And I'm going to go to my ending screen because we are close to the end. We are actually over by 2 minutes, but that's okay. The yesterday's video should be posted to YouTube by now. I have it scheduled to post at 12:30 my time, which was 2 minutes ago. I'm going to get back to work, but tomorrow's Community Day. What that means is I like to invite people into our Discord voice channel, and your voice will come out. So I haven't seen Dukasoft today, so I need to do the Discord thing myself, where we can discuss any .NET related technologies, any projects that you're working on, or anything like that verbally. Your voice will come through on stream. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about an important topic. We'll talk about an unimportant topic, whatever it happens to be. Zulius, we could work on your Twitch live issue if you wanted, but that's Fridays. That's what Fridays are for. To celebrate you guys, because without you guys, the stream would be absolutely nothing except for me talking to an empty audience. So thank you all for being here. Join me again tomorrow for Community Day. And I do stream every weekday from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, which is currently UTC -6 until daylight savings. Then it's UTC -7 until we get rid of daylight savings. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's gonna be great. Except there is one caveat. Monday I will not be streaming because that is the day that I have the half day of interviews with Google, so I won't be here. I'll be stressing and talking to strangers and becoming a big ball of mess while I try to present myself in a professional manner. It's gonna go well. I know it will. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I don't see anyone streaming that I normally would be interested in raiding. I generally tend not to raid anyway lately because I want to get right back to work. So for now, I'm going to leave the project where it's at, and I will see you guys the next time you're here. Until then, enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Live long and code. Oh, I'll also be on Discord currently in the community voice channel for the rest of the day after I go get something to eat. But that's it. Okay. Ciao.